Chances are, at some point in your life, if you identify as a woman, you've been told that you're too much or that you're a handful and to stop being so emotional and thinking so much in your relationships, right? Chances are you've been told that by someone in their masculine, because in that energy, emotions, intuition, and creativity and wildness create polarity, as in they form the opposite and opposing energy to the masculine logic, structure, and discipline, which by definition causes both attraction and repulsion. In this video, I will show you how to stop being out of control with your emotional energy and instead use the natural polarity inside of you, your own masculine and feminine energy that exists inside everyone, regardless of gender, to create an internal balance so that your emotions become your ally instead of your enemy. Now, I want you to stick around to the very end of the video because I will show you 2 strategies you can start using right now to honor your emotions without being naive about a situation. That's going to give you real freedom from your emotional self to pursue the relationship you really desire. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Amy, and I help women in toxic dating and relationship cycles heal their past and connect to their worth so they can create the healthy, secure, and loving relationship they desire. And if you want more content on this topic, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button so you get notified when I post new videos twice a week. Now, before we begin, I want to announce that a few spots have opened up for the free one-to-one consult with me for the Love by Design program. Make sure you stick around till the very end of the video for the announcement on how to sign up for that. We know as women that we are highly emotional creatures. We've all felt out of control with our emotions at one time or another, whether it's in a good way and we've fallen head over heels in love with someone and they can't do anything wrong, or, and it could even be with the same person, they do or say something that's wrong and we become livid and so angry with them that they hurt us. We can feel out of control one way or the other, and it's because we haven't learnt the innate intelligence of our emotional language, how to interpret it and how to channel it and use it for good. Because emotions are an inherent part of being a woman, and regardless of gender here, everyone has feminine energy within that emotions form an important part of. And emotions are actually incredibly useful energies and signals if we know how to read them before they get out of hand or the glass is leaving our hand and it's headed in the general direction of their head. Emotions also shift and change. They don't stay static, and that causes suspicion within us or with our partner. You know, you felt this way yesterday and now you feel totally different. What is wrong with you? Yes, that's correct. And it is correct because that is the nature of emotions and the feminine. It is like water within us because our emotions shift and change. They can cause chaos within us, particularly if we haven't learned how to read and respond to the more subtle early emotional cues inside us. So if you're at the stage where you're racked with emotion and you feel like you're just putting out fires of crazy emotional outbursts or pushing them down and repressing them and it's not working anymore, firstly, you need to start meditating. There is no way around this. Meditation creates a space inside of you that lets the body's natural communication system start having airtime in your consciousness. Emotions also affect the way we process and see our world around us. So when we're in a really good mood, we pick up on great things around us. When we're in love with our partner, even the smallest thing they do means they love us, right? Even if they've hurt us or cheated on us, sometimes all they need to do is send us a little text message and it means they love us, right? No, not right. You see, indulging in our emotions too much can really ground down our self-respect, cloud our judgment, and negatively affect how accurately we see the world, which is why we need the balance of logic and the energies around the masculine, like boundaries, structure, and discipline, to facilitate and protect our emotional energy. So we can see the real truth of the situation and act in our best interests and cultivate healthy self-respect through appropriate actions and stop putting up with hurtful or unhealthy relationships in our life because we're so overwhelmed with our emotion. In a sense, we need to let logic be our inner wing woman to our emotions, right? So logic, it's that voice in our head that tells us what we should do, but so often we don't do it, right? We go with our emotions, it feels so much better, more intuitive, because as women or feminine, that's our nature. So we've got to find a really authentic, structured energy within us to balance that out, that doesn't feel unnatural, cold, and boring, because we know that we won't listen to it. It's not authentic for us. And no, it's not because we're not disciplined. For those of you in the masculine watching this, our discipline is in our conviction to follow our intuition no matter what. And that is an example of women or feminine cultivating our internal masculine energy. If we were to be actual men, men wouldn't be attracted to us. So don't be fooled. We're not trying to put on a man suit here. And again, look, this isn't gender specific. We can use the word masculine and feminine instead. It doesn't matter what your body looks like. If you're naturally drawn to and identify with the feminine energy, your masculine inside is going to look and feel differently than someone who is in their masculine primarily. So to find this balance inside, we need to start separating out a few things and create some structure. We're going to start drawing some boundaries inside us so we can channel and manage our emotions for good. And if you want to learn more about internal boundaries in a relationship setting, not just to do with our own emotions, here is a video on that. So at the moment when you feel an emotion, you identify with it. If you feel sad, you feel that sadness, and we identify with it. I am sad. The problem with this is we're letting the emotion affect our identity in that moment, which isn't true, because remember, our emotions shift and change all the time, but our identity, who we are, what we want, what we stand for, is static and stable, or it needs to be if this is a new concept for you. So we need to learn in our language the difference between I am and I feel. I am Amy. I value kindness and respect. I feel hurt and angry. If I am hurt and angry and let my emotions impact my identity, then of course I start acting disrespectfully and unkind, which I do sometimes because I'm not perfect and I don't always maintain this internal separation. So it looks like this. I am a person who values kindness and respect, and I currently feel hurt. That emotion gives me information about something that's going on in my life that isn't right. Perhaps someone's crossed my boundary, they've hurt me, been disrespectful to me. Now that we have this internal boundary line, we can then follow it up with an action that honors both the feeling and our identity. In a respectful and kind way, we let that person know what they did hurt us and that that's not okay. We need to learn the discipline to have uncomfortable conversations with people in this way, because if we don't, we really dishonor who we are and what we feel. And this is being out of integrity. This is self-betrayal, ignoring the very important emotions that are arising and the things in our environment that have caused it. Another way to look at this process, and please let me know in the comments below which perspective helps you more, because it helps me to teach you more effectively, is the concept of both sides of the coin. When we get overwhelmed by emotion, we go into extremes. Like, it can only be either black or white. It can only be one way because that's how we're feeling, right? So because I am hurt and angry, you are bad or wrong because your action caused it. And we're now actually attacking the person and calling them the feeling we're having ourselves, which is of course projection. So we need to learn how to exist in the gray area of multiple possibilities, being all true at the same time. Your action caused me hurt, and you are my partner that I love and you love me. Both are true in that moment, and holding a space for both when we're in conflict can help us to get out of the reactive mode and into internal balance where we honor our emotion, and we can also see the reality of the situation and our identity. Our partner doesn't mean to hurt us, or they weren't thinking, or whatever the reason might be. It's like we're playing devil's advocate with this situation. Your strong emotion has a really loud voice inside of you, and you need that balancing energy inside to acknowledge the opposite scenario and diffuse the strength of your emotion. Being aware of and acknowledging both scenarios within you can really help you tap into greater understanding and compassion for them as well as yourself. So it can be both sides of the coin, and if we try and balance a coin on its end, it can be really difficult. There is a really fine little edge there that the coin can balance on, but it is possible and it is so important. So let's look at how it can be helpful when we're really kidding ourselves when we're in love with someone, but they aren't as much into us as we are them. Your strong emotion here is obviously love, and we get our wires crossed in this feeling, this strong emotion, when it takes over our identity. I love him. That forms the core of how we see ourselves as in love. And we might even say that we lose ourselves in it, in the relationship. When it's our identity, we fight for it, we do whatever we can to make it work. I love him, despite the reality of the signs around us. Perhaps they've started to pull away. Perhaps they've said some words like, I'm finding it harder to choose you every day, or I don't find you attractive anymore. They are so hurtful, and it's so difficult to acknowledge them that we push them down or we put them out of our mind because it attacks this identity we've created that we are in love with them. So we need to separate out the components in order to create a structure that can recognize the reality of the situation. This person that you love is losing interest in you. So your emotion is that you feel love, which is separate from I am worthy and deserving of love, and I am choosing to feel love for this person right now. And the other side of the coin is that you, as my partner, are choosing to love me less right now. You are still a kind and worthy person, and for your reasons and for the signs I can see and the words you're telling me, you are pulling away and loving me less. It doesn't mean I am worthy of any less love. That is my identity. I am worthy. It's that you are choosing to love me less. From this container where I can honor my emotions as separate from my identity and see the reality of the other side of the coin or situation, I can maintain an internal balance, as difficult and uncomfortable as that is. But it allows me to have choices. I can set a boundary to protect myself from further hurt. I deserve to be loved the way I love you. If you can't give me that, then I will have to walk away. Or I can choose to have a conversation around changing the situation that's causing them to love me less. Having this internal balance creates a space that allows me to acknowledge this reality of them pulling away, and I can decide if their request is reasonable or not, all while maintaining a separate knowing that I am worthy of receiving love in the way that I give it. So creating this internal balance is going to give you the space to know your options from an empowered place rather than be at the whim of strong emotions when they arise. This also allows a real freedom to pursue what we want in our lives, a relationship that is worthy of us, where we maintain our integrity most of the time. Remember, we're not always perfect, and can honor our emotions without letting them control us and wipe out our lives. It also allows us to really mature into a woman that isn't naive. We can start to tolerate uncomfortable conversations and difficult emotions, and know that it doesn't mean that your relationship is doomed because your partner is pulling away. We can tolerate the nuances and reality of two people bonding and committing to each other over time, and that means you aren't always going to be fully connected. That's normal and that's okay, and we can also tolerate walking away from a situation where consistently we aren't receiving the love and commitment we need. We've heard our emotions as little warning signals, and we've followed through with that uncomfortable conversation with that person, and that's saved us years of potential heartbreak and being in limbo and chasing. Now, there is even more we can do in this area so that we can feel really secure in who we are and what we're creating in our relationship. And if you want to know more, I encourage you to join me in my free training to learn the exact 3-step process on how to go from anxious and insecure to secure in relationships. You can click the link right above me to join me there and down below this video. You can also interact with me on a more personal level in my free Facebook group, Love by Design. And like I said, a few spots have opened up for the free one-to-one consult, and you can apply for that at the link in the comments below. And please, if you have any questions or comments or any points that you want me to address, please leave a comment down below this video. I would love to hear from you, and I love to engage with you all in the comments. And like I said before, if you found this video helpful and valuable, it really helps me in the channel out if you click the like button, and also subscribe for more content like this one because I post twice a week. In the meantime, here are some great next step videos for you to watch so you can move one step closer to an incredible relationship with yourself and the partner that you desire. For now, I will see you in the next video.